Well, I think another good argument for running a front mudguard anytime really is to keep your bottles free of whatever. I mean, I dread to think how much sheep and horse excrement I've potentially consumed over the last 200 miles of riding.
Oh, so it was riding then. Thank goodness. I was going to say, Steve.
Yeah. Hi, welcome to Going Along with Cycling Weekly, the cycling podcast about all things ultra, bikepacking and adventure riding. My name's Steve Shrubsall, and today I'm here with James, my brother. James, how's it going?
Hi, Steve. Yeah, going pretty well.
Cool. And Ian Toe. Ian, you're back for more. Good man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good, although I had a little off on the way.
Yeah, our studios are in a place called Winner's Triangle, which is just a couple of clicks south of Reading, west of Reading, east of Reading,
yeah.
Or north of Reading, that is.
East of Reading.
I mean, we tried them all. We got there in the end.
Yeah.
The Winner's Triangle.
And Ian, you live near Mordor, don't you?
Yes, a.k.a. Swindon.
A.k.a. Swindon.
Near Swindon.
Apologies to anyone from Swindon. I quite like Swindon. I'm not going to lie.
I don't know why.
Well, I've only been there once, but I found it completely inoffensive.
Well, I always try to ride away from it rather than towards it.
Right, okay. Anyway, you cycled from near Mordor /
Swindon.
to our offices today, and it wasn't very nice this morning, was it?
It was pretty wet.
How long is that journey, sorry, mate?
I think it was 45 miles on the Ridgeway.
Off-road?
Yeah, off-road.
Yeah.
Road would have been a bit longer.
Yeah.
But there were kind of like rivers streaming down some of the climbs. It was pretty muddy. I think I emptied out quite a lot of sand into the shower just now.
Right.
And I've just been picking out all the lovely thorns as I had come off on a little descent, and the thorn bush broke my fall.
So the thorn bush won.
Yeah. Well, I had some souvenirs. So
So you sort of, you came away you came away relatively unscathed.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like the worst fall I've ever seen.
I traded thorns for blood. So the blood stayed, the thorns came.
Sounds like an episode of Game of Thrones.
Yeah. I mean,
it sounds like method podcasting, if nothing else, like actually falling off on a bike ride on the way to record. So, you're pretty good going.
I didn't want to spend the 50 quid on the train.
Which is madness, because it's, half an hour, 45
40 minutes.
Yeah. Well, we won't get into that now, but yeah, it's a lot cheaper to cycle than it is to get the train in most circumstances.
Almost every circumstance, in fact, unless you break your bike completely on the way.
How much would, say you were to cycle from here to Inverness, how much would that cost you on the train? Ish.
I mean, I have absolutely no idea. Probably £250.
I think there's a new train operator.
Right.
I mean, Lumo. They're promising, I think, 50 quid from London to Edinburgh.
Really?
Wow.
I'm not sure if this is
Some
true.
riding around Scotland coming up, perhaps.
Okay.
Possibly.
Let's go with the 50 quid. How much is it going to cost you in fuel and water to get from here to there? Probably about 50 quid.
I've got a feeling it might cost you and me different amounts because of all the meal deals.
Well, what are you going to eat?
Bananas.
Leaves?
Yeah, just something sensible.
Bananas the whole way.
No, I don't know.
How many bananas can you get per mile?
Would it be per mile? It'd have to be a fraction of a banana per mile, surely.
Yeah.
So one per hour, it'd be like 15th of a banana.
15th of a banana per mile. So are you going to divide your bananas into 15ths?
I mean, it's doable.
I think you should just ask Jill,
Jill Mooney,
Jill Mooney,
top nutritionist.
how many miles should you be able to get out of a banana?
Yeah, but it's gonna be about weight, power. There's going to be a certain weight.
Well,
Yeah.
Might be a nice taste.
Yeah. How many watts per kilo does it take to burn off a banana?
I mean, it is an interesting equation, though, isn't it? I mean, at what point does the train ride become less expensive than the bike ride once you factor in accommodation and food? Probably after about 24 hours, because once you've stayed in a hotel, unless you wild camp, of course, which is theoretically not allowed, but it costs you nothing.
Yeah.
All the food. You know, it's an interesting one. Maybe it's one for a future podcast, but that isn't today's podcast.
Sure,
is
legs
it,
that
Steve?
one. Watch the space.
Not to be done in today's weather.
Yeah. James, what about yourself, mate? Apart from dividing bananas into 15ths.
Well, I've not done that yet, but I'm working on a way of doing that.
Right.
That involves probably cutlery. I do. I've been riding a reasonable amount, not half as much as you, clearly, because not many people do, apart from Ian.
No, actually, I think I've beaten Ian's tally for this year.
I think you have.
Yeah. But
That's interesting.
yeah, he's still about 50 kilos lighter than me, which is a constant pain in the backside, to be quite frank.
I've no idea why.
Because why?
You're so competitive, Steve.
I'm not.
It sounds like it.
No, I just want to be thin.
It's not all about being thin. It's just about having a good power to weight ratio.
I don't want to be thin. I just want, I'll ride 8,000 miles in a year. Last year I rode 8,000 miles. I put on weight. Riddle me that.
I think you have to go back to Jill.
Well, I don't like. I know what Jill's going to say, and I'm not going to like it.
Less of the crisps.
Less crisps, less kebabs. Anyway, sorry, James. We derailed a little bit there.
Yeah, so just to recap, I'm working on the bananas into 15ths, but I've been doing a bit of riding, quite a lot indoors. Largely because the weather's not been great lately, has it? I mean, you experienced it this morning, Ian, on the way here. So yeah, been doing some indoor riding, and obviously it's that time of year where we turn to our cold weather wardrobe.
Yeah.
And start thinking about
Even
riding in the cooler weather.
Even when you're riding indoors.
Yeah, I mean, it can get... I've worn overshoes in the garage before on Zwift because it does get that cold.
Your feet are the first to go in the garage, I think. If your feet... Yeah, you get numb, without doubt, you get numb.
Yeah, especially, obviously, the longer you ride in the colder it can get. But, so, yeah, that's our podcast today, isn't it? It's going to be riding in cold weather, riding in winter, all the different sort of things you need to take into account, whether that's clothing, fueling, or your bike.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Ian, have you got much experience of long or multi-day rides in miserable cold weather?
I live in England. What do you expect? Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's the sad truth of the situation.
even if it's not, even if it's not autumn or winter, there's plenty of rain and cold weather. So I think, having lived here all my life, having been born in this country, I much prefer the heat. But if you want to ride your bike, and I can't do what you guys do in your pain cave. I can't turbo train. I can't do that indoors because
Why not?
I got into cycling to see places and to feel free and experience the outdoors.
So you've never used Zwift?
I have, but I'm long past those days of really intensively training.
Right.
So all your sort of winter training, autumn, is all done sort of outside.
Yeah,
Basically.
I mean, I haven't touched the turbo for at least 2 years.
Yeah.
It's just
I mean, that's
gathering
pretty
dust.
amazing. Because, I mean, I think both of me and you, aren't we, sort of tend to retreat into the shed when it's grotty. I'd probably consider myself, sad to say it, a bit of a fair weather cyclist. So it's kind of cool that we got you here, Ian, to give us the flip side of that, which is like actually, just getting out there and doing it.
Literally cool. Yes. Sometimes very cold and sometimes very wet, like today.
Yeah. But so I mean, if you're on a if you're on a training program and you've got a long ride on a Saturday and it's England's doing what England does outside, and chucking it down and windy and just horrible and grey. You got 4 or 5 hours on the program. Are you going to go out in that and train, or would you consider going riding indoors?
I would. Riding indoors is kind of like the last resort,
Right.
and that would be if I was seriously time crunched or it was actually dangerous and super, super cold and I needed to train rather than wanted to train. Otherwise, I'd fit it into life and give myself a break over winter and just accept, that if the conditions are half decent, that is dry. I think dry is the most important thing, because cold, you can take it.
Yeah.
You can just layer up and you can put on the right winter clothing to keep yourself warm and comfortable.
Yeah.
But when it gets wet, oh my goodness, that is when, like we saw at Via this year.
Well, it's sensory deprivation, isn't it?
Yeah.
With rain,
When it gets cold.
it's deafening. You can't see anything, and it is. Torrential rain is sensory deprivation. It's dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, our scratch rate at Via this year was 40%, much
it really?
higher than the heat wave that we had last year. That caused a far lower scratch rate, about 20%, because people, riders were riding for 3 or 4 days through some pretty horrendous rain. 3 or 4 days, and getting trench furts because they couldn't stay dry enough, and it was also cold going through the Alps.
Impossible to sort of actually dry out if you're actually on the road day after day, isn't it?
Yeah, but even during just a long ride during the day,
it's
impossible to stay dry. So what do you do if you have to ride for 10 hours in the wet? And that's why I think if the conditions are right, which is it's dry enough that you can go out and not be completely miserable and not actually put yourself in a hypothermic state, which I've been in. But
right, yeah. I mean, that's the thing with rain; it really does sort of rapidly kind of start to make you cold, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Like forget the actual air temperature. Rain will make you cold very quickly.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not wearing quite the right clothes.
Definitely. I mean, I've been in like minus temperatures in Norway riding on a fat bike slowly, and it's not so bad because if it's this nice crisp cold, if it's -2, -4, but it's dry, maybe it's snowing, it's not so bad. As long as you can layer up and you can keep yourself warm, which with fat biking, it's more about unlayering and being able to unzip and try to stay cool and not sweating, rather than trying to just stay warm.
I mean, I have to say, I find it pretty much impossible not to sweat reasonably heavily. I mean, like me and you, we both sweat a fair amount, don't we? Sad to say. It's all part of the fun.
2.9 litres an hour, FYI.
You always used to be merino wool. Try that. You don't sweat in it, or it's super wicking. And, that doesn't seem to have made any difference either. So I guess one of the options is to take a spare top with you, even on one ride. You essentially change into a cafe stop.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
Yeah, spare base layer at least. If not 2. I mean, it doesn't take long to, penetrate a cycling jersey and get your base layer completely soaked, either with sweat or with rain. And then if you stop, even for 5 minutes, that rain, that chill starts setting in. And then, after a few more minutes, you can feel it to your bones. So definitely a spare base layer and spare jersey.
I mean, nowadays with all the different bag setups, seat packs and rack bags and so forth, it's so easy to take extra layers without having to worry about where you stick it. You can't fit everything in your back pocket. And if you're wearing a skin suit, well, you're just crazy and there's nothing to put all your spare clothing in. But with like a seat pack, just take anything. You can take socks, and it doesn't weigh anything really. It's more about your comfort, especially in winter. You're not really racing, you're just trying to get out on the bike. That's what I do, is try to enjoy it as much as I can, get something out of it, do some miles, enjoy the outside rather than being cooped up.
So what is your strategy in the really cold weather, Ian? Do you sort of tend to shorten your rides? I mean, we've had people that we've spoken to on the podcast that use the winter for maybe more high intensity training on shorter rides. because obviously like doing an 8-hour ride in the winter is not very pleasant most of the time. But and then as the weather improves, their rides get longer. But so is that what you tend to do, or you just kind of focus on getting out there and doing what you feel?
Well, it's been a couple of years since I actually properly trained, but that's typically what I would do is have shorter rides and try to fit a longer ride, maybe 5 or 6 hours, into life. So if the family are going somewhere, then I will ride there, and it won't be every weekend. It will be on those select occasions when it fits with the family, it fits with the weather. And I won't be too hard on myself, because winter's a time to take a break. It's a time to mentally refresh yourself, and not get too hung up, because what races are coming up in January, February. There's nothing. It's a time when everybody's just taking a break. So go easy on yourself, do things shorter, stay active, and maybe do something else.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose that's one of the beauties of being an adventure rider, a bike packer, ultra rider, is that you're used to carrying bags. So you can carry all kinds of stuff with you to sort of really help you stay warm, whether it's extra layers or, extra food, which we'll get to as well. But, if you're a roadie, which I used to be, bags weren't the first thing you really wanted on the bike, or extra weight. But, once you get into the distance stuff, it gets a bit more normal to be carrying a load, which is quite nice.
Yeah, as Ian said, the quality of bags you can get these days ensures things stay dry. So you don't have to worry about, potentially packing stuff in, other bags within bags. So, I spoke to a couple of people on the recent Cotswolds 200 that I did who were caught in torrential rain, and their stuff stayed completely bone dry in the packs there. I think they were using a tail fin, but I dare say, other brands have got the right, have put the right technology into, have put the right, research and design into to make them similar.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of great stuff out there. I know the Zafel bags that I use on the Rebellion Way. I mean, we had quite a lot of rain then.
Did we?
And especially on the third day, and everything in it stayed completely dry. So
and they're a budget end bag as well.
Yeah, they are.
The only thing I'd say with the ZFL bags and other bags and it's a problem I experienced during torrential rain, again in the Cotswolds 200, was that they do have a propensity to start sagging as the ride goes on. Straps tend to loosen, and you're not aware of it because obviously the bag's behind you. A saddle bag is behind you, and the next thing I knew, I could hear a zoot, 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 and it was my bag striking the tire. And as my bag struck the tire, half the stuff would come out, and my jersey was completely and utterly just wet.
Right,
my spare jersey. So I think the pannier racks are absolutely, if you're going to do things, absolutely, safe in the knowledge that things are going to get kept dry, get one of those pannier racks.
I mean, those pannier systems seem to be very popular, don't they? So
they're the ones now, really. You use one, don't you, Ian?
Yeah, and I think the best ones are the rack bags, which sit in the middle rather than the sides of the pannier racks.
Yes, absolutely.
It's more aerodynamic, and they're just easier to get to. They're also lighter, and you get some really light setups like the Tubus Rack Time one.
Yeah,
that's the one I use, and having it waterproof is absolutely essential. You want to be able to get to your stuff really quickly, and that's why I think the rack bags are actually better than seat packs. Seat packs also tend to wobble from side to side. If you load them up with any kind of weight beyond like your down jacket or some very light layers, if you're putting lots of food in there, it's that horrible, almost like dog tail wagging going on, which just feels horrible when you're out the saddle.
It feels like you're the back end of your bike has got a mind of its own. So anytime you get out of the saddle, It just feels like you're not moving quite in unison with the bike.
Pulling you across the road.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, definitely the pannier system to store extra clothing in. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much a no-brainer.
And for, it's also speed. So it's not just about the stability of the bag, but with rack systems like tail, fin, tube, as right time, they're incredibly stable and they stay in the middle. But they're also, I think, all the systems that I've seen are really easy to get into. So you're not forever trying to unpack, repack if you want something out of your bag.
Yeah.
You just unzip or unclip and just grab stuff, and you can just throw stuff in.
Yeah.
And that makes stops a lot more pleasant.
Because they're open from the top, don't
They
they?
open from the top, exactly.
Yeah, that is
Rather than
very
from the back.
handy. I mean, I don't think we'd want to dismiss all sort of seat bags like out of hand, because a lot of people obviously get on with them, and they are, especially if you're on the more budget end, they can carry a lot and get the job done.
I've seen some incredibly stable ones, and I've always, commented, how on earth have you made it? I mean, they've stayed absolutely static.
Yeah.
You spend that little bit more money, and I think it's got more straps, and
I think the
better
Ortlieb system has this, and it's much more stable.
Ortlieb?
Yeah. They have a clip, but also straps which go around it, and that's very high end kind of German quality there.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting off the main topic of cold weather, of course, slightly. Onto baggage, and it's not completely irrelevant.
Yeah,
but
right.
I'd like to go back to the clothing, if you don't mind, and just let's think about what are the most important things. It's a cold day. You're going to do 5 hours, 6 hours on the bike. What's the most important things you need to make sure you're wearing? I would start by saying, for me, among other things, it's toe protectors, which is toe booties, if you like. I use those. Instead, I used to use overshoes as a road rider.
Yeah.
And it is harder to use those if you're just going off-road. I mean, they don't fit as well over off-road shoes, and they just tend to get mashed once you start riding, walking on rocks. So the toe kind of
I know
things.
what the things that just fit over the toe box.
Yeah.
But surely you're not getting as much warmth from them.
No, you're not. But they protect about half the foot. And they make a big difference, because we think about it when you go riding and you do get really cold feet. It's often your toes that are really feel it the most. So for me, that's a big one.
I tend to agree with that. Yeah, I think toe protection is the most important in winter, because that's where the wind is obviously striking at the front. So I think they probably have more circulation issues because they're right at the end, hence extremities. And
it tends to be where the venting is on the shoe as well, just behind the toes. So
but
if you do have venting,
an overshoe would serve the dual purpose of potentially keeping your toes warm while keeping your socks dry as well, which will ultimately keep your foot dry.
I think if it's pouring with rain, that's a bit different, maybe.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
To get like a decent winter booty would be quite a good idea.
I have had some success with using the spats, which are quite long.
Yes.
These quite thick neoprene things which come up either calf or almost up to your knee.
Yeah, those were developed in Yorkshire, so in some really serious conditions, and
I've had a couple of pairs. We've tested them in all conditions, and they really do help keep your feet warm.
Yeah,
not necessarily completely dry, but they are much better than any alternatives. I mean, I see some people using those thin, almost PVC things.
Yeah.
What are they called?
They're almost like a time trial.
Yes.
For aero.
They're very much like a throwaway thing.
Yeah.
You use them once, you can't get them off.
Yeah.
And then you have to throw them away.
Yeah.
But also, even if you're using neoprene, I do think if you go for a long ride off road, and you cover over your normal off-road shoes with those in bad weather, and you start kind of hiker biking up a rocky hill, that is like a one-use thing pretty much, and they can cost £30 to £50. So it's better to have something that you can.
So you're going with the
last the
protection on that?
Generally, that's what I do.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But I don't tend to venture out in terrible weather for 6 hours, as I probably sort of said already. So
not recently, but I mean, you obviously have done previously.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it never happens.
Yeah.
And they do make a big difference anyway. So
if I knew the weather's going to be terrible and I had to do that ride, I would also wear not just spats, but I would also wear waterproof socks.
yeah.
So I'd wear some pretty, and there are loads of brands out there which I've used lots of.
Yeah, they're incredibly warming, actually, aren't they? I mean, even though they're just waterproof socks, you know, you almost could get away with not wearing overshoes. They really do kind of
Just
make
like
your feet sort of feel that extra bit toasty.
If you only wore them without overshoes, then you do run the risk of your shoes filling up with water, though. But we are talking quite extreme conditions there, and I would say, unless you're a really heavy sweater, they will keep your feet warm, and it's great. Even better if it's just cold and dry. Then those waterproof socks will work for a lot of people who suffer from circulation issues or very cold feet.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of sort of a decent top, what would you guys sort of choose if you know, let's say money's no object?
Well, I've tried and tested. It's a Rafa rain jacket. It's really well sealed. Seamless baffles. I think that's the correct terminology.
I'm not even sure what that is.
Yeah, Google it.
I'm baffled.
Yeah, so am I, perpetually. But I was caught in in the Cotswolds 200, a 5-hour rainstorm, and it did a very good job of beading the rain off of it. You could see just the rain, even, such a huge volume. It was very good. I was really impressed by it. Actually, there's a video here, because I have got videos of it. Really, really impressed with that. So that's what I'd wear on the top. I have worn sort of other sort of less quality items, slightly cheaper items that haven't done the best job. So I think, you've got to spend a bit of money in order to get the best product for a good rain jacket.
Yeah. I've tended to go for a soft shell windproof. Most winters, that is what has served me for the last 10 years or so, different versions of one of those.
Right.
At the moment, I've got an Endura item. I'm not sure exactly which model it is, but it's pretty good, very toasty. It doesn't keep heavy rain out. But in fact, this season, or this off-season, I'm going to try out something slightly different. When I was on the Tour de France, and I didn't have a raincoat, and it went from lovely, lovely weather in the first half of the final week to just pouring with rain. I was forced to buy something, so I went into Decathlon and bought a £30 sort of raincoat. I mean, it's obviously like a sporty, slightly technical thing, but it was super.
Decathlon owned special, or
it's a Quesha, I think it is.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to try that. It doesn't fold down very small, but I figure, I've got enough bags to accommodate it. It folds down small enough. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll, maybe talk about it in a later podcast. And it could even become a thing of the week.
It could be the theme of the week.
/ what's in the bag.
Yeah, what's in the pack.
I mean, Decathlons are good for that across Europe. Being quite budget friendly and being very kind of accessible and
good shop.
Having lots of stuff available. I mean, again, if I was not worried about aero and I was riding off road and I knew it was going to be absolutely tipping it down, I would go again with something like Endura. I've used their MT500, like it's like a waterproof onesie. So it's got a hood, it's got arms, legs, all in one suit.
Yeah.
And I've used that in snow and torrential rain. It's not aero, but it will keep you dry.
Does it keep you completely dry?
I've rolled around in snow,
right?
Not deliberately, but very much accidentally. Like
you made a snow angel, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly. But you can do that sort of thing because it's fully sealed, and there's very little place for the water to get in. So it's a very nice system.
Yeah,
it gets quite warm, and you have to unzip it. But if it's about staying warm and
this is the
dry.
thing, isn't it? I think again, what you take with you and what you pack, it depends a lot on the terrain, on the parkour. you know, because if you're going up and down, you're getting hot, then cold. So you've got to plan for that, because, you know, you're going to be boiling by the time you get up. And, you know, obviously Tour de France, old school, they pop a newspaper up into the jersey, wouldn't they? And that would act as their sort of thermal insulation. So a good, really well sort of, you know, very breathable sort of winter garment, you know, the one where you can potentially got zips on it as well. That
you can open right up on the way up.
On the way down.
I do like a good gilet.
Yeah.
Where, you know, you have your natural, you know, it's only covering your torso. So it keeps your core nice and warm, but you do have ventilation space underneath your armpits.
Yeah.
And so, you know, your arms can get really hot, your legs can get really hot, but your torso always stays warm, and you can unzip. So ventilation, again, you can think about that. But a gilet can be an absolute lifesaver.
Yeah.
And I've come off some really big descents, and that gilet has just kept me tasty warm.
Right, yeah.
And, you know, you can get gilets that they fold down into almost nothing, can't you? So you barely know.
You're carrying sort of
just use it when you need to.
Yeah. Minimalist sort of pieces of apparel.
Yeah.
You can just,
If not a gilet, then you go full down jacket.
Yeah.
And that's maybe a bit more versatile, but a little bit bulk. It can be a bit bulkier. It depends on the down. I mean, my Haglof's down jacket has hydrophobic down, so it can get wet, but it will still keep you warm.
Yeah.
So it has that layer of water resistance, and it's quite nice to just...
Very, very warm, I have to say.
Cost me 40 quid off eBay, secondhand. Very light, it's about 160 grams. And it's really nice to get into if, you know, if you're stopped anywhere.
You can pack it into a jersey pocket.
You can pack it down really small, and then if you're stopped, you throw it on, and it's very comfortable.
Yeah, that's a very good option, actually. Yeah,
especially if you're stopped a long time.
Yeah,
you know, a cafe stop, just throw it on.
Yeah,
and it'll keep you very, very nice and warm.
Yeah, down jackets, definitely a hot item for ultra riders in both senses of the word.
Lovely. Yes. Well, I think that's a few of the basics, at least when it comes to the clothing, but there's other things to cover, such as fueling, which doesn't change a huge amount, but it does change, doesn't it, in cold weather? I mean, partly I find when you're on the bike, you got to remember to drink, because you don't get that feeling of thirst, well, not half as much as you do in warmer weather. And it just, you know, unless you've got warm water in your bottles or warm drink of some sort, you're not so, you know, you don't really want to drink it.
No, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, you know, with all this clobber on, you do still sweat, but you don't have the inclination to drink as much, you know, because you're obviously not sweating as much. Therefore, water is obviously not as important as it is when you're riding in hot weather. But it's still important to, you know.
It is. I mean, you're still going to be sweating out a reasonable amount of fluid every hour, and you need to replace that.
Yeah, I mean, a good way to combat that is I've got some thermal water bottles, 750s from...
I use Camelback. They have a...
They are Camelbacks. They are Camelback.
Is that a thermal system?
Yeah. Yeah, so you could put you know, hot coffee in there or a cup of tea.
I've done that.
Yeah. Or some soup.
Actually, last year on Salsa Sprint, I did that with a coffee.
Right.
Because it was pretty cold.
Yeah.
So I had a coffee at the services, said goodbye to the second place rider.
Right.
Had a load of coffee in my...
So to Sprint, which you won, I believe.
Yeah.
For the second year in a row, wasn't it?
Second year in a row, yeah.
Right, you know. And that was a 1,000 kilometers.
1,000K, about 13,000 meters, And we were only about halfway at that point. It was pretty cold. It was foggy in Wales. Going through some of these valleys was properly cold. When you're moving through that kind of wall of water, it really penetrates through any clothing that you have, unless you're wearing a waterproof. So I took the I've done it before, but you know, putting hot coffee in your bottle, as you say, especially if it's like a thermal thing. Mine was Camelback as well. Just means that you can keep yourself quite warm, and it's this It's almost like a present to yourself. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna warm my mouth up, warm my face up a bit. And the reverse is also true. If it's really hot, you can give yourself some ice water. In those sorts of conditions, whichever, it gives you a real boost.
Yeah.
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 I mean, obviously, the only thing about coffee is that it is a diuretic because of the caffeine, so you have to be careful to replace any extra fluid.
Yeah.
Just concentrate on your fluid. But
Yeah.
you can put warm water or hot squash.
Or Bovril.
Bovril.
Bovril is a big good form of sodium.
Yeah, that would.
I'm not sure
I mean-
a cup of soup would work because how do you get all the bits out through the nozzle?
You have to do the big,
Yeah.
big wide top.
I think you'd end up wearing it if you took it out.
Yeah, just don't have one of those Heinz big soups, for God's sake, because that could get messy.
I mean, when it comes to food, I'm reckoning you're going to have to eat a little bit more because the cold is going to make you burn extra calories. So be really on top of your feeding.
You shiver, you burn calories, don't you?
Yeah.
I don't think you want to be in the state of shivering.
Yeah, probably not.
I think you want to ride just high enough power to keep
Well, it's
yourself
just,
warm.
there are going to be periods where you're going down a hill and,
Yeah, I mean, today I
shivering.
wasn't so much shivering. It was pretty cold. I just rode in shorts and jersey. It's quite a short ride, only 3 hours. So on each descent, I knew there was an descent after because the ridgeway's just rolling constantly. So I just do 400 watts up the next climb. That keeps you warm.
Kept you warm for the descent.
But you can't really do that on a very long ride. And I knew there was a hot shower waiting for me.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different to pacing an ultra. But
Yeah.
you do need to.
Yeah, you don't want to do a selection of intervals on a 1,000 kilometer ultra ride, do you?
It's not so sensible.
No.
Yeah, you got to keep that heart rate and power output a little way down, I guess.
Yeah. But coming back to your fueling, I think also another thing to remember is if it gets really cold, that food can get pretty hard. So you've got to have something which is soft enough and will stay soft in cold weather and not be like eating an ice cube because that's just not pleasant.
No.
And one tip that I would have is to have your food near your body. So you might have it in your pockets, near your torso, so that your body heat is naturally keeping it at a nice temperature rather than absolutely freezing.
That's a good
Good
plan.
Great advice, yeah.
Good advice, mate, yeah.
I mean, when it comes to the bikes, I mean, I guess there's a few obvious things, such as tyres when it comes to the winter riding, tyres and mudguards, fenders. I always change my tyres when it comes to the winter. Put something a little bit knobblier on.
On your road bike or?
Even on the gravel bike. I mean, for example, been riding Gravel King SKs. So I've changed now. In fact, at the moment I'm riding a Vittoria Torino T50s, and they've got a nice shoulder, nice shoulder of knobs, which feels just a bit more secure on the bends.
Cool.
So something like that. A WTB Radler is good as well, I found, and also the Gravel King. The Gravel King do quite a knobbly one as well. I can't remember exactly what the model is, but yeah, it's easy to find.
Well, I've gone in.
Is Radler or is that maybe Riddler?
There's a
Radler's
Riddler and a
drink for cyclists.
Radler.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, they're slightly different.
Well, one's got an I, one's got an A.
Or one you can drink, one you can ride, or one you can
Is there
drink and ride.
a Radler beer then?
Yeah, it's like almost like a shandy
Really?
with lemon.
Oh yeah,
It's very popular.
yeah, there is. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's
fresh
very
drink,
nice. Yeah,
on a summer day.
it's really popular in Europe, actually, isn't it? It's getting popular over here.
I mean, I would ride.
Good summer drink.
Good summer drink. But I would ride Conti 5000s, the ASTR, literally all seasons. I'd ride tubeless. I wouldn't go back to tubes. I mean, I punctured today on the Ridgeway,
Yeah.
as I told you, and I had to stick a plug in. And
Oh, so that you were running tubeless today?
I was running tubeless. Yeah, I wouldn't do. And I used my electronic pump. So, running tubeless, I would not. I would continue with tubeless all year round, and I would think about using a more robust tire I'd even ride more off road than I would road, because the faster you go, the colder you get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's the wind hitting you. It's
definitely.
that air temperature.
So the Conti GP 5000s.
Yeah, ASTR.
Okay, so that's an off-road version, is it?
No, I would use that on road. I mean, I use them all year round.
Yeah.
And it's just good in all conditions. It's got very good wet grip, and it's got very good puncture resistance. So it's got an extra level of, I think, a puncture tread belt. So that's quite good. For
Nice.
riding long distance, especially.
Yeah.
It's very assured.
Yeah.
Good handling.
That's what you want.
Yeah, you don't want to be panicking about punctures.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just use I don't ride on the road during winter.
No.
Just don't really enjoy it. I used to a lot, but now it's all off-road, and I'll just stick with my Maxis Ardents. Yeah.
Good
Maxis Ardents.
time.
Yeah, and they just bulletproof. Change the sealant every now and then, and in the Cotswolds 200, I was battered over all sorts of terrain. It was wet, it was horrible. There's a lot of canopy cover, therefore there's a lot of detritus on the ground, and the potential to sort of get things stuck in the tire. But no, brilliant. I can't. When your bike behaves, you start.
Everything is good in the world.
You start to actually love it.
Yeah.
Almost develop an actual love for it.
Surely we've all got that already, Steve. Come on.
No, but if it goes wrong, you just
Yeah. Never doing this again.
Yeah.
I think you made a good point, James, though. Mudguards, they are essential, especially in the wet, because they will help keep the spray off you. The front mudguard will help to stop the spray on your lower legs, especially on your feet. So if you're not wearing overshoes, then your feet are going to be in big trouble. And the rear mudguard is going to help. I mean, again, with a wet bottom. So you won't suffer so much from that.
And that can really, that can cause, it can increase the likelihood of saddle sores as well.
Yeah, for sure. If you're riding along, but I would say that a rack bag actually serves the same purpose, because that spray is getting between. The rack bag sits between the spray and in your body.
Yeah.
Your backside.
I mean, I fit mudguards to both mountain bike and gravel bike in the winter, and it makes so much difference. Just the clip-on ones, it takes about probably 5 to 10 minutes to put them on. Not even that. And it, especially, the front one is great because, I mean, it doesn't, even though it's only a clip-on one, it doesn't protect my feet that much, but it protects my face. Like, you get home with a face full of mud quite often if you don't use anything like that, if you've been off-road. And then, obviously the back one sort of helps for
I really don't like those plasticky ones. They don't do enough, and they don't seem worth it, and they wobble, and then they sometimes rub on the tyre, and
they look rubbish.
Rattle.
They do look rubbish, but it's
better than nothing.
A lot of different. I'd say it gets the lion's share of the stuff that you don't want away from you. But the bike is still, it's obviously nothing, especially on a road bike. Nothing beats like a pair of full-length mudguards.
And another reason,
it's not so much an option on gravel, is it? If you're going off-road a lot.
Well, I have these. I think they're called SKS. They're aluminium, and they're very solid. I use them on my cargo bike. Use them on a tandem, and they're pretty sturdy. They're a little bit heavier, but as long as you get the right width and it's as wide as your tyre, if not slightly wider, then it'll give you good coverage. And they won't rattle. No, they're very kind of solid.
Well, I think another good argument for running a front mudguard anytime really is to keep your bottles free of whatever. I mean, I dread to think how much sheep and horse excrement I've potentially consumed over the last 200 miles of riding.
Oh, so it was riding then. Thank goodness. I was going to say, Steve, you want to stop that? I mean, you want to stop that habit.
I know you'd been in some fairly dodgy food establishments, but
no. But if you think about it, I mean, trails. You're riding through fields. You're riding along bridle ways. What else is on bridleways? Horses. What do horses do all the time? They poo. What do...
Not all the time, Steve.
I mean, to be fair, horses aren't here to defend themselves. So
Yeah.
Well, I'm not having a go at them, you know.
Maybe it was the riders. Maybe it wasn't the horses. Stop blaming the horses.
But it does happen, doesn't it? I mean, Matteo
sheep.
Jorgensen in Tour de France was it a couple of
No,
years ago.
it was the Paris-Roubaix where he ingested,
Yes, that's it.
ingested sheep shite.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and got ill.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
no, it's a fair.
How ill?
Not ill.
No, he was okay and
Yeah.
pretty quickly, I think.
Yeah,
But-
but that, I mean, that has been a sort of perennial problem in the in Paris-Roubaix because they're going along with these old farm tracks. You know, riding, you know, mouths agape,
Yeah,
and
breathing everything in.
yeah,
It's like UK conditions. I mean,
yeah,
that's standard on our roads. They're
Yeah.
so terrible. And I think one of the problems with the UK is the drainage is awful. You know, the way that roads are constructed, they're not constructed with a camber, and so you get a lot of sitting water, and that's what really does it. It's not necessarily the rain coming from the sky. It's the water which is just sitting on the road, which you're riding
Obviously, stuff
over.
runs off the fields as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is just terrible. So,
So yeah, protect your bottles.
or use
Keep your mouth closed. Don't try too hard. You know, basically when it's raining.
And stay on top of bike cleaning as well, because it gets unusable pretty quickly unless you're sort of fairly on top of that.
Yeah, I need
So
to. I need to wash my bike after today's ride. But I would not use bottles off road. I would use a bladder.
I use both for when I'm going that long. You know, but I know you've got a bladder within you. You've got a bladder on your back as well.
I don't usually have it on my back, but I could. I would rather do that than using bottles.
Yeah.
Because bottles just gets filled with crap. So I would have
Yeah.
literally, and I would use a bladder in a frame bag.
That's what you use nowadays, isn't it? Yeah.
That's my definite preference.
Yeah.
Right.
And and the hose you've got to keep clean as well. So that's the thing that you're drinking from. And I think I've got like a little cap on the end, which you can just pop off quite easily with one hand. So that keeps the thing that you put in your mouth completely hygienic.
Yeah.
And
As hygienic as it can possibly be.
yeah, and boys and girls, look after that hose, look after those caps.
I sometimes think, you know, I must have a pretty
Clean.
good, you know, you must develop pretty good immunity to be out on these trails, you know, because you're not really washing, you know, you are, you sort of, you know, you are living feral, you know, for days at a time.
I mean, there's probably a lot to be said for, like you say, it's probably good for gut health. You know, having plenty of all these bacteria around, as long as there's nothing too nasty there.
I'll ask ChatGPT if horse poo is good for gut bio.
Yeah. I mean, you could try.
Might be.
I don't tend to live feral, Steve. Well, I tend to be a bit more civilized and try to wash my stuff,
Yeah, so do
especially with like hot water. So
Yeah.
if I was using
Yeah,
bottles,
no, but if you're going for 36 hours, you're not going to wash your stuff, are you? And you
I would, because you got to wash your hands.
yeah,
you
but
wash the
not
crap off
midway
your
through a
face.
race.
Oh, I would.
What, your clothing?
Not necessarily your clothing, but you keep your hands, your face
To a
clean,
degree.
your bottles or your nozzles, whatever it might be. This is just you and your fetish. I think,
All right, that's where I went wrong.
yeah, with a sheep excrement habit.
Yeah.
You've got to wash more often, Steve. It's
yeah.
coming up to December.
Yeah, almost time for my annual bath. Yeah.
Before we sew you into your jobbers or whatever, and you're off for the winter.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like good night, Mr. Tom. Right.
I mean, not jobbers, but long johns. That's the word.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, I think we've covered a pretty good chunk of cold weather /
I think we've given it a good go, haven't we?
Yeah. Lasty thing of the week.
Or what's in the pack?
Yeah. Ian, thing of the week. What's in the pack? Have you got anything that sort of sprang out to you this week that you've started using?
It was that down jacket,
Right.
which will keep me warm now that the temperatures are really dropping. I mean,
Yeah.
you can feel it in the mornings, you can feel it at night. You need to stay warm. So that's one thing. But the other thing of the week is my camera.
Right.
So I carry around very often, especially on my long bike packing trips, when I might be visiting a place where a race or an event might be going. I take my digital SLR, so I take a Fuji
Right.
XS20, and
And that's fairly portable.
I would like it to be a bit more portable. It's not the lightest, but it's only about a kilo. So
Is that a full-size SLR?
yeah. So I'll carry it around with me, and I'll take some photos, maybe some video.
Right.
Sometimes even carry a drone.
Right.
Yeah.
What drone have you got?
DJI Mini 4 Pro.
Oh, you got the Mini 4.
Yeah.
So that's the latest one out.
Yeah, but the Mini 5 is coming out soon,
Is it?
apparently.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you know? What advanced technology that's gonna?
Better battery life, better camera, maybe. I don't know. We'll
Do
have
we
to ask
need?
the
I mean, any more?
behind the scenes team.
Yeah. Well, any more than 4K is not needed, is it?
Oh, my camera, my Fuji does 6.2.
Right. Okay. I know. Dan, our fellow host, his hover air is 8K.
Is it? Wow.
It's like, do you really need that good a definition for?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think what would be nicer would be better battery life for the smallest
Definitely.
drones. I mean, I've got a DJI Neo, and the problem is the batteries, they don't last long at all. And even once you get down to, I think it might be 20%, perhaps a bit less than that, but it just comes in for an emergency landing because you haven't got enough. So it doesn't give you much time.
You kind of bought those emergency landings.
Yeah, at your own risk. Essentially, just fly off.
Into
got-
a lake
otherwise-
or the sea.
I've got a DJI Mini 2, and I just wanted to see how far it could go. You know, it's like-
You're not one of those guys who flies it off a ferry and then realizes the ferry's going a little bit faster than expected and the drone is not going as fast, and bye drone.
no, it wasn't a ferry
Into the sea.
incident. It was a back of my garden incident. Or I'm going to try and fly this drone to the nearest village, and about 2K away, it was like, boom, completely lost signal. So it's like, oh my god. So I just turned everything off, and then turned it on again, and lo and behold, it sort of regained signal. And I sort of inched it back home. So DJI Mini Mavic 2, 2K. That's the max you're going to get out of that.
But those pictures are quite good. And I do love the idea of taking a camera or a drone, especially on the longest bike rides, because you go to some amazing places that you might not see again. You know, why not sort of make a record of?
For sure. I mean, I totally agree with that. That's why I carry these cameras. Is, you know, I got into cycling to see places. This is why I don't turbo. I mean, like staring at a wall is not the same.
Don't
as
stare at you. We stare at Watopia, and it's amazing.
painful.
No,
I mean,
it's
I did 100. Oh, that's where we're different, Steve.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's okay. You wouldn't want to do it year in year, all year round, and not, I'm like James. I'm a bit fair weather. If it's as soon as end of March, April roll around, I want to go outside. But it's a very good substitute.
I mean, it's good for training, but that's
Yeah.
different from riding.
Oh yeah, you're not looking around, breathing in fresh air and saying.
You I mean,
But there's no horse poo either. So
Maybe that's the next thing they need to introduce.
yeah.
Things flying at you from the screen.
Actually, they have got Paris-Roubaix on there, so maybe they'll put some horse poop up. But
What's the longest you've ever ridden on Zwift?
the longest duration?
The longest distance?
that's not the same. That
100 and something miles.
100 and
But-
something miles.
But then I did
Was that your Everest thing?
no,
Attempt.
no. The Everest thing was 100 and something miles as well. I was on the trainer for 13 hours.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Oh, what a nightmare!
Dirty.
I tried doing a century, and this is many years ago, and I just couldn't stay on there. I had to get off and do something else. I had no focus. I just wanted it to end. It was painful.
Were you in a group?
No.
That's where you need to be, because if there's quite a few century rides on Zwift over the weekend, and I think there's one on Saturday at 10 a.m. and one at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m.
And this is
2
in
p.m.,
general
sorry.
rather than this particular weekend coming.
Every weekend, yeah. And they're a really good bunch of people, and you're going about 2.53 watts per kilo, so you're going relatively quickly for that. So you do your century in about 4 hours. and it is tiring.
Oh,
It's incredible.
Sounds it. I mean, that's above my threshold.
Misery loves company. But yeah, I carry my camera so I can capture the beautiful places that I want to see, and I have seen some pretty beautiful places.
As we'll find out when you release via Chapter 3's route.
Correct.
Yeah, which we will talk about at a later date. Yeah. When are the entries out for that, by the way, Ian?
End of this month, end of September.
End of September. So by the time this has gone out, entries will probably be out. And where can we find out about, where can we enter? What's the website?
You can either find us on Instagram, via-race, or you can go to our website.
So via VIA.
Correct.
Yeah.
-race.com.
Okay, cool.
Great
All right.
stuff.
Well, thank you again for joining us for another episode of Going Along with Cycling Weekly. Please give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Also, you can follow our audio podcast on Going Along with Cycling Weekly. So that's at Spotify and Apple and all the other associated podcast platforms. And follow us on Instagram, which is going_long adventure.
_adventure.
You've got to change the name of that.
Going_long_adventure. Yeah, we do need to change that.
All right. Thanks again. See you soon.
Cheers.
Cheers.